Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. It's been quite some time since I've discussed the 6th iteration of Ben 10 on this channel, and today in this video I wanted to take the time to discuss what exactly is going on right now, and when we should expect to hear news regarding the next iteration of Ben 10, or if it's been scrapped entirely and we're just not going to return to the world of Ben 10. So with all that being said, let's get into this. As a quick recap for you guys who don't exactly know the timeline of what's been going on with the 6th iteration of Ben 10. The Ben 10 reboot ended all the way back in April of 2021 with Duncan Rolu, one of the creators of Ben 10, a part of Man of Action, saying that we're going to hear what's next for Ben 10 by the end of the year, by the end of 2021. So by December, we're going to have some sort of announcement, a trailer, or teaser for what's coming next for Ben 10. All of a sudden, December comes and goes, and we never heard anything for what's next for the future of Ben 10. Fast forwarded to 2022, and he said that he had misspoken and that they're still working on what's next for Ben 10. We hear nothing about it for the entirety of 2022. Enter 2023, and Jason DeMarco, the senior vice president over at Warner Brothers Animation for their action and anime department, says that they're working on a few different ideas for Ben 10, but he's unsure if any will actually materialize into a new series. And since that happened back in like the midpoint of last year in 2023, we haven't heard anything regarding the 6th iteration of Ben 10. Basically, what has happened, at least in my mind, in my opinion, what I think has happened is Man of Action, Duncan Rolu, all of them were working with Cartoon Network on their version of the 6th iteration of Ben 10. They thought it was going to happen, then all of a sudden Cartoon Network decided to pull the plug on the project, and it was canceled in favor of Jason DeMarco and his team making their own iteration of Ben 10, their own 6th series, which is currently being developed over at Cartoon Network. But the issue is, right now where we stand today, we don't know if any of those ideas from Jason DeMarco were picked up by the network. We don't know if they said, sorry Jason, you had some great ideas, but we just want to go in a different direction with Ben 10, and did they bring in a new team to come up with their own idea for Ben 10, or did they say, oh Jason, we love that idea you have, you want to return to the original continuity? Awesome, we're going to do that. Or hey Jason, you want to make this brand new reboot for Ben 10 that's going to be meant for older audiences? Awesome, let's do that. We don't know right now, and that's why we're left in the dark. Now, if you had to ask me, what do I think is happening right at this moment over at Cartoon Network Studios regarding Ben 10, I would venture to guess that one of Jason's ideas was picked up by the network. I would venture to guess that they are working on one of the ideas he created for the next iteration of Ben 10, but that begs the question then, why haven't we heard anything about it? You might be saying to yourself, DC Network, we haven't heard anything about it because it's so really far out and they're not ready to talk about it yet. And while I would agree with you that yes, a lot of companies do that, when it comes to Warner Brothers Discovery and Cartoon Network as a whole, if we just look at them over the past few years, more often than not, they will announce a new project way too early when they barely have anything to show for it, or they have nothing to show for it. For example, remember Batman Cape Crusader? Remember My Adventures with Superman? They were announced all the way back in 2021, and we did not hear anything about them until they were about to premiere. Like, My Adventures with Superman didn't get a trailer or any sort of updates until 2 months before the premiere. Batman Cape Crusader got no updates until basically June of this year. It took 3 years before we found out what was going on with Batman Cape Crusader. Same thing goes for the new Powerpuff Girls. We heard it's happening, we haven't heard anything since, and I could go on and on and on with all the different Cartoon Network properties, all the different Warner Brothers Animation properties that are in development right now that we just haven't gotten updated on. So that makes me wonder, why has Ben 10 not been talked about yet? Like, if you look at 2 months ago or 3 months ago, back when the Annecy Film Festival happened, we had the announcement for the regular show revival sequel series, whatever that ends up being, the 3 Adventure Time projects that are in development as well, none of which got promotional images for them except for Heyo Bimo, which is the Adventure Time preschool series. So clearly they're not that far along in development because they don't want to show us anything about them. They don't want to show us what they're going to entail. In the case of the regular show reboot, revival, sequel, whatever it is, they haven't even told us what it is. They haven't even given us a synopsis of the show. So clearly that's very early in development, but yet they haven't mentioned Ben 10, and that's the one thing that is making me wonder what exactly is going on. Because like I said, I truly believe they are working on the 6th iteration right now. I think they did pick an idea that they're moving forward with, but I just wonder, why haven't you told us that yet, right? If you told us we're making a new regular show, you told us you're making a new Adventure Time, you're making a movie, you're making a preschool show, Go-Go Mystery Machine, a Scooby-Doo anime is coming, you told us all of that, plus the Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends preschool series, you showed a little promo for that as well, but yet you haven't told us anything about Ben 10, which again makes me wonder what exactly is going on behind the scenes. I'm not saying we didn't get a trailer, we didn't get a poster, I'm not even expecting that at this point. At this point, I just want to know you're working on something, and for you to publicly acknowledge that, and for whatever reason, Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers Discovery, they just don't want to mention Ben 10 right now, other than back at San San Diego Comic-Con, them mentioning that they're making a comic book series for Ben 10, which whoop-de-doo, that's great, but what about the TV show? What about the, canon timeline that we're working with, the Ben Prime timeline that people want to see return to? That's where the mystery lies right now, and there is the possibility as well, as I mentioned before, that they are working on nothing right now, that they didn't like Jason's ideas and they want somebody else to pitch a brand new idea, but at a given point, I feel like they have to just say something regarding it. The issue is that the people who are working behind the scenes have publicly said Ben 10 is coming back, we're working on something. I'm assuming, they got in trouble for saying so. Jason DeMarco had to take his tweets down right after he posted them. Duncan Rolu hasn't said anything about it since 2021, basically. I know he did a little interview earlier this year where he did talk about it very vaguely. He didn't really give much details away. So I'm assuming they're not allowed to talk about it due to NDAs, but again, we're just left in the dark, and the company, Cartoon Network, Warner Bros. Discovery, they just don't want to say anything regarding Ben 10, which is rather frustrating. I know I also mentioned earlier maybe there is no Ben 10 coming, we're not going to see another iteration. That's not going to happen just because Ben 10 is too big of a property for them not to return to. It's more a matter of what exactly are they going to do in whatever reboot or revival or whatever comes next, and when is it coming, and when are we going to hear about it? That's kind of where we're at right now. The last thing I want to touch on before signing off on this video is what exactly is the timeline that we're looking at here for when this announcement could come. And quite frankly, who knows? Because in my view, the timeline has already passed. We should have heard about this new iteration in 2022 and it should be out already, and it's not. So with that all being said, I've said in prior videos that in my opinion, the perfect time for this to come out is next year. The end of 2025 in December is going to be the 20-year anniversary from when the original series first premiered on Cartoon Network. I feel like next fall would be the perfect time for them to reintroduce Ben 10 to the world in the form of a new iteration to the original continuity, or even in a brand new series that has nothing to do with the original continuity, a brand new continuity in and of itself. I feel like that would be the perfect time to do so because, hey, it's been 20 years, and to celebrate the 20-year history of Ben 10, we're giving you a brand new series, an action-oriented Ben 10 that's meant for older audiences. It's going to be dark, it's going to be gritty, it's going to be something for the fans, and we can't wait for you to see it. I think that would be the perfect way to celebrate the 20-year anniversary for Ben 10 next fall, next December, but at the same time, they haven't announced anything yet, which, yeah, in theory, they could announce something tomorrow, they could announce something in January, and it could come out by the end of the year, but the way that Warner Bros. Discovery has acted, the slow as molasses pace they've been developing their shows at, I would venture to guess that if we got an announcement anytime within the next 6 months, that show's probably not coming until 2026, which to me seems like you're missing the mark, because again, how apropos, how appropriate would it be if for the 20-year anniversary of Ben 10, you finally return to the original continuity in the form of the 5th iteration of that series, of that franchise, of that timeline, or you do something brand new in a brand new continuity. That would also be welcomed as well. All I know is it's time for Ben 10 to come back, Cartoon Network. People are tired of waiting. The reboot was a miss. I know the reboot has its fans, but overall, for the core Ben 10 fan base, the reboot wasn't something that a lot of them loved. A lot of us did not like the reboot, and it's time for you to cater to those fans, and hopefully it comes in the not too distant future, because I know I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of having to speculate on it, because quite frankly, they should just tell us something so I can make my next video saying, hey guys, DC Network here. The 6th iteration of Ben 10 has finally been announced. That's what I want to make. I want to make that video. I've been dying to make that video, but Cartoon Network, Warner Bros. Discovery, they just don't want to announce anything for it, which is really just a shame. And again, I've said this time and time again, this is not how you treat your fans, nor is this how you treat the biggest property to ever come out of Cartoon Network Studios, because this is the highest grossing property that they've ever had. This is their big fish. This is their SpongeBob, if you will, and they're treating it like garbage, which is really just a shame to be seeing. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all this. What do you guys think about the whole 6th iteration of Ben 10 situation that's been going on now for over 3 years? I mean, do you think we're almost at the end of this stalemate, or do you think that we're going to be sitting here left wondering for the next few years what's going on with Ben 10? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.